Hey, my name's James, and in this video I'm going to be building out a really simple geospatial tool in Claude Code that allows you to select any area in the world and get a really simple satellite update back on it. A few years ago, building something like this would have involved having to know how to use geospatial data infrastructure, but now with Claude Code, that process is 10 times easier. The tool we're going to be building is essentially just a interactive UI that lets you draw a polygon of any area in the world, which will send over to Telegram, giving you daily, weekly, monthly, whatever notifications on whatever metric you want to choose to measure your site by. In this video, I'm going to be using NDVI, which is just a measure of total greenness of the area. Part of this tool is querying live satellite data from Sentinel Hub. So I'll also show you how to obtain your API key and configure that in Claude Code. As you can see here, I've got my full prompt in Claude Code in the anti-gravity IDE. Using the IDE, you can use the terminal or whatever interface you prefer to use. For Claude Code, I just prefer being able to see all of my file structure on the left-hand side. Here's my big old prompt. Essentially, this contains 3 layers to the web app or interactive web app that I'm going to be building. Landing page, the interactive user interface to draw your polygon, and just a log of previous sites entered before. So let's just go ahead, upload this, and see what Claude comes back with. Okay, after a nice bit of waiting there, Claude Code has actually come back with the web app, the satellite inbox web app. I did forget to mention, over here on the left-hand side, you can see some, these are design skills. They're not actually my skills. I didn't create them myself. I will leave the GitHub link down in the description below. Fantastic skills. I've used them a good few times. Quite popular for designing really high-end, really cool web apps. Okay, so to run this locally, we're just going to type in npm run dev into the terminal, and that should load for us nicely. So here's the actual web app itself, and those skills did a absolutely terrific job because this looks really, really good. They were really professional. Really clean. You can see here the landing page. I guess we will run analysis. Yeah, as I said, it looks really good. It's loaded us in Germany, so I'm just going to take it back to Ireland, back to home. The location should not matter. So let's see if we can actually get an analysis on this. Don't like how it's all black. It's cool to a point, but it just looks quite difficult to use. So I guess we'll select any area here, maybe zoom out a bit. Maybe this polygon here, nice and simple. Of interest to find. Okay, so we got nice coordinates, perfect. Cannot run analysis, be that the Telegram API isn't configured, bot isn't configured. That won't let us run the analysis. Okay. Nonetheless, I mean, that looks really good. Even this, really clean, really professional. Could very easily be something on Planet Labs or Sentinel. So now it's time to actually set up the Telegram API so we can actually receive a notification about how our site's performing with our metric chosen. All you need to do to set this up is go into Telegram. Then you want to go into the bot folder chat. This is the simplest way to create new bots without having to be too technical about it. Once you're in bot folder, you want to select a /new bot, and you have to call your bot something. In this case, I've got it satellite inbox, and then you want to give a username to the bot. So I've gone for satellite_inbox_bot. That's perfect. Once you have given a name and a username, you will get your HTTP API key. This is your bot token that you can use to call the bot from anywhere. In this case, we'll be calling it from our satellite inbox web app. So once you have your bot token copied to your clipboard, you're going to want to come over to a new tab and you're going to want to put in this URL as it is. You're going to want to take out your underscore token and put in your bot token. If you call this URL, it should come back with some JSON that looks similar enough to this. I do believe this is what we need, which is our second token key of sorts, which is the chat ID. Just to check, I'm going to use a second URL and see if is indeed the chat ID. So as you can see here, I've used another second URL. The only difference being get updates is at the end of this one. And again, you have your nice bot token in the middle after bot. Really important. It actually just showed that the first was correct and that it was able to call the chat ID. Didn't have it labeled, as you can see here, just had ID. These are the only 2 keys tokens that you need for Claude to be able to call Telegram. So once we're back in Claude, all we're going to need to do is create a .env.local file, which is going to be able to store all our API keys, tokens, whatever, from both the Planet Labs API and Telegram. Can you create a .env.local file that can contain all my Telegram API information so the web app I'm building can call it effectively? It should just be chat ID and bot token. You can put in your underscore token or your underscore ID in place of the actual chat ID and actual bot token so I can fill it in. So Claude's going to go ahead and create a .env.local file. This is just so we can effectively store all information, our APIs in the project. And boom, as you can see here, Telegram bot token and Telegram chat ID. So all you're going to want to do is fill in this information in your project. So it's your bot token and your chat ID using the two URLs, or I should say just one we originally used to get the chat ID. Okay, now that we have our information inputted, so our bot token and chat ID, into the lovely .env.local file in Claude Code, see if this actually works. So I guess this is where all the testing will come in, seeing if we actually have something that can function properly. Zooming in on Egypt here, don't quite know where the Nile floodplain east is because that's just a placeholder, and I thought, why not use that? Okay, I'm gonna go close to home. It might be the best shout. No, I'm not gonna actually pick somewhere I know. So we're gonna call this peatland. Non-specific, hopefully. Analysis. Now we've got back our NDVI within typical range, so that actually looks perfect. And we have our little placeholder here that tells us it's not actual data. I believe I did configure it in my prompt, but it has not submitted over to Telegram. So there is something that is missing in this project. So if we go back over to Claude Code, because that just didn't work, you wanna see, what can we do to actually fix the problem? Does it know to send over the message to Telegram in what format? I don't know if it was specified in the prompt, but time and NDVI is computed over a area of interest. This should be sent to the Telegram bot, a complete message. You already have the chat ID and bot token, so you should be able to send it from the web app. All I want you to send is the NDVI range. Is it within typical P10 to P90 baseline values? Just give me a little audit note at the bottom how this information was generated. It was generated by mock data because there's no live API hooked up to it. You just note all this. Make sure that a message sends to Telegram. Okay, so we've given Claude another prompt. Hopefully it's going to fix it and make sure that an NDVI based message is going to send over to our Telegram bot. Okay, so Claude Code has come back with some information here that seems to be good to go. One thing to do, let's give it another quick test. I'm going to be lazy here and just give it the area which we spawned into. Okay, so we've given it an area here in Germany. Let's see if we can get anything back. Lovely. I think that actually did give us something back because I'm just seeing the notification pop up here. Just zooming more on this looks perfect. Really good reliability. You hear the placeholder text saying that it's not live data, so it actually looks really, really good. I know I've said that a couple of times, but hey, it's true. That design skill really worked well. And we can clearly see here that part one has actually worked. We've actually received the Telegram notification. NDVI analysis, I should say, Augsburg. We got a nice range. Baseline range P10 to P90 is 0.156 to 0.580. And we got the little audit note at the bottom saying mock data was used to generate this, which we're going to fix in just a second. You can clearly see that it's mock data because I think we got 0.56 something, or maybe 0.7 for the Irish one as well, and I don't think, or on the very, very low chance, it's going to be the same value. We're very close to it, and that's quite a high NDVI value as well, judging by the baseline range. So we can quite clearly see it's mock data and that it's not actually properly as yet. So why don't we go and fix that? So the next step is going to be using live data ingestion from a satellite data source like Sentinel. This is just going to allow us to get an actual NDVI value, and so this tool actually functions correctly. You're going to want to go over to sentinelhub.com and you're going to want to say try for free. Now I should stress that I think they give out a 30-day free trial, and after that, don't know if you can actually get access to the information that we're going to look at. I'm not totally positive on that. Did have another free trial expire before. I was struggling to find the information I needed. But again, regardless, once you're logged in, you're going to be on this Planet Insights platform page. All you're going to want to do is come over to welcome. And once you're in account, you should scroll down, new OAuth clients. And we're going to want to fill in this information. So client name, client credentials, expiration date, all that lovely stuff. So once you clicked on create new client, you're going to want to give it a client name, and you're going to be given a client ID and a client secret. Now it's really important that you keep these two secure, sensitive information. These are the only two keys / tokens again that we're going to want to keep to Claude Code so it can access live Sentinel data. So again, similar to the Telegram API calling, all you're going to want to do is come back up to Claude Code. Tell it, with the last request, can you put these two into the .env.local file? And boom, it's just put in Sentinel Hub client ID and Sentinel Hub client secret into our .env.local file. So once you've got your client ID and your client secret from Sentinel Hub in your .env.local file, you're just going to want to go and ask Claude Code to let it so knows that it's going to be asking for live Sentinel data and DVI. So when I told Claude Code to fix up the pipeline, make sure that live data ingestion from Sentinel Hub is going to be required because it has the client ID and client secret. It seemed to do that good. However, like many things, when you're in the building process, the pipeline has failed. So there's obviously something that is broken. And again, it's being that you can query Claude over. Just ask it to try and fix whatever is actually broken. As you can see here, it's actually been able to find the bug, compute NDVI statistical function, parse the response incorrectly. Okay. Causes, wrong response pass, and wrong percentile keys. So Claude Code seemed to have fixed this okay. And it's probably a good sign that we're getting errors. It shows the build is, complicated enough to receive errors. Let's see if we can run analysis again. Okay, and it seems to have gone from bad to worse here. The whole web app is gone. Again, let's crop up. We're going to have to ask Claude Code to try and fix this in what admittedly took far longer than I actually expected to fix that bug. We are back with the original UI. So it looks great. It does seem to be quite a heavy web app to run. It was taking ages to load the terminal. But apart from that, apart from being kind of slow, and apart from that massive error Claude Code fixed, admittedly, it looks good now. We'll just test though if NDVI pipeline to a lovely Sentinel Hub does actually work. So here's hoping. So it did actually manage to generate. Now I'm not too sure if it is actually using live Sentinel data because the little placeholder is still up here, but the NDVI did change. Now of course that could be a massive to the original area, somewhat similar, but again that could affect the NDVI somewhat. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask Claude Code again and see if Sentinel ingestion is actually working properly. So finally, after many failed error attempts, many back and forths with Claude Code, we have finally got Sentinel-2 data results back. It looks absolutely perfect. Just to prove this, do indeed our NDVI analysis for Augsburg, that is 0.463 and 0.463. Lovely. So we've got our notification and our super score back. I guess I should talk a little bit through what in these NDVI results or what's coming back from the satellite data. So immediately what stands out is this low confidence barrier. Now all this means is that there were very few scenes found. As you can see here, 17 scenes found and even less scenes used. So 3 found sort of means the appropriate images that the satellite has found over the reporting period. In this case, the period is from the 19th of March to the 18th of February. Now, low confidence would naturally occur here because it's only a 1 month window, and cloud cover, as you can see, was at 76%. So it's going to be fairly low confident for this time frame, assuming as there was very few valid scenes found and even fewer valid scenes used. So valid areas or sort of granules used by the satellite tool to form a valid picture of the NDVI of the area. And that's just further explained here by some of the caveats. It was at 76% cloud cover and some of the audit details, pipeline site, AOI area, centroid generated in. And then obviously we got our lovely site back for Augsburg. Again, we could do anywhere in the entire world, from the Nile, Flood Valley to Augsburg to Little Ireland, anywhere can be computed for a valid NDVI signal over whatever reporting period you want. We can always change this. I don't think we could do it manually here. We'd probably have to do it in Claude Code, but this could be a year, 5 years, whatever. It would obviously give you a higher scene count and more valid scenes used and less likely to be interfered by cloud cover. Okay, to test this out in one clean workflow for one last time, let's try and hopefully get a DVI value for an Irish peatland. I shouldn't probably say Irish peatland. I don't actually know if it's an Irish peatland. I know it is somewhere in the middle of Ireland, but it is most likely not a peatland, or maybe. Regardless, we do get an NDVI value. It did work absolutely perfectly, 0.713. And that should be our Telegram notification. Perfect. NDVI analysis. And now NDVI analysis, Irish peatland, NDVI value 0.713. This one was a bit kinder with the scenes used, 17 over, I'm guessing, a month again. Yes, it is. Scenes used was 7. So it's probably configured in Claude Code to be a reporting period of 30 days, which is something we could very easily change to kind of up this confidence score, enable more usable scenes to be generated. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video on creating a satellite inbox for generating NDVI values for anywhere in the world. This can obviously be spun into something that could be updated weekly, monthly, yearly, and give you NDVI values whenever you want. Super simple, just plugging in all the tokens, the ABI tokens that you need to use from Telegram and Sentinel Hub. And obviously along the way, you're going to get a few errors like I did in Claude Code. But again, it's super simple to fix them. The best option is always just to tell Claude to try and fix it itself. It can always do more than it'll probably let on. You can always tell it, fix this yourself, do it all yourself, only use me if completely necessary, and it'll be able to test, what's going wrong in the web app, and then use the terminal commands, which oftentimes it'll give you, but it's always good to just get Claude to do it. Regardless, thank you again for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed.